Hi, welcome. So I thought I would do a practice teach, and I thought I'd do something a little different, something a little fun, hopefully. Um, we're going to let the universe decide what our practice looks like today. So we're going to just trust the process and see what we can figure out and pull some cards. So sharing with you, I am using my lovely little Do Yoga Anywhere deck. It's pretty fabulous. It's a lot of fun to play around with when you don't quite know what you want to do, but you want to get a little practice in. You can randomly choose a card. You can randomly choose as many cards as you want. So let's see what we make of this today. I'm thinking let's pull 10. We're going to randomly pull 10 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we will say 10. Okay, let's see what we got and figure out what we can do with it. We've got, oh dear, a lovely side plank we'll be squeezing in. We have wheel pose. That won't be happening. We have extended hand to big toe pose. Fire log, love that one. Of course, wouldn't be yoga without dolphin. And down dog. Got us a little plank. Heron, we'll see how that one goes. Lovely little forward fold. And of course, our seated forward fold. So, first trick when you do this is we've got to see how the cards will fit. So we'll be doing more than 10 poses because we want to be able to blend them. But let me get myself here and we will see where we choose to begin. But those are the poses we will be working with, and let's see how this turns out. So we got our seated forward fold. That'd be a nice one to start with. Again, we're just gonna set Will to the side because that one might not be the best for people to try without a little more direct guidance. Let's pull another card. We'll sub it with a lovely Warrior 2, because why not? Warrior 2 is fabulous. Okay, folks. I think we might have ourselves a plan. So, let's see where we go from here. All right, we're going to start by warming up. So to do that, let's do one of my favorite warm-ups. First, let's start just by closing our eyes, checking in with our breath. Let's just get ourselves grounded, coming fully into our body, being very aware. So again, when we do this, we're not changing the breath, we're not trying to alter the breath, we're simply just bringing our connection to it and our awareness to it. So sitting in a comfortable cross-legged position, easy seat, feeling free to grab blocks and support your knees if they're at all uncomfortable in this position. Sitting up nice and tall, closing your eyes, or if that's not comfortable for you, just kind of gazing down at the floor. Inhaling our arms up, palms together, hands to heart center. We'll do that one more time. Inhaling our arms up as bringing our palms together, exhaling to heart center. Let's take our right hand to our left knee. We're going to take that left hand behind us. Not overdoing this, just gently looking out over that left shoulder, just a mild twist, sitting up tall. Inhaling our arms up, we'll bring the right hand to the left knee, left hand to the right knee, right hand behind us. Nice, soft, gentle twist, looking over the right shoulder. Again, we're just warming up right now, so we're not trying to do the most here, just starting this movement. Inhale up, right hand, left knee, left hand behind you. Inhaling up, as you exhale, left hand, right knee, right hand behind you. We'll do that 2 more times on each side. Inhaling up, exhaling, bringing that right hand to the left knee, left hand behind us. Inhaling up, left hand to right knee, right hand behind us. 1 more time. Inhaling up, right hand, left knee, looking towards our left. Last one, arms up, left hand, right knee, looking out over our right. Inhaling up, hands together, exhaling, hands to heart center. Bringing our hands, gently resting them on the knee. We're going to do some seated cat-cows before we start moving into more vigorous movement. Again, just warming up right now. So as you're ready, on the inhale, bringing your chest up, letting your head slightly fall back, getting a curve through the spine as you draw your chest up towards the ceiling for our seated cow. Exhaling, arching through the back, letting the head fall down, bringing the belly button in towards the spine. Inhaling, bringing the chest up, letting the head lightly fall back. And exhaling, arching through the back, letting the chin drop towards the chest for our cat pose. Let's do 2 more of those. Inhaling up for cow. Exhaling back for cat. 1 more of each. Inhaling up for cow. Exhaling back for cat. Coming back to a neutral spine here, let's go ahead and move ourselves into our tabletop pose. So for tabletop pose, you want your wrists directly under your hands, you want your knees directly under your hips. From here, we're going to go ahead and curl our toes under. Let's just sit our hips back here for a second, getting a nice little stretch. Inhaling back up to tabletop. As we're ready, we'll go ahead and move into that down dog, bringing our hips up and back. You may want to step your feet just a little wider apart like I just did, whatever works for your body, listening to it. So holding here, continuing to breathe in your down dog, forming like a V with your body, really kind of pushing through the palms of your hands, bringing your hips back, up and back. We'll inhale forward for our plank pose. Bringing the knees to the ground, coming back into our tabletop. Remember, for tabletop, knees are directly under hips, wrists are directly under our shoulders. When we're ready, let's bring that left foot forward. So we want the left foot to come forward. We want the knee to track over the foot or just slightly behind it, but it should not be in front of the ankle. And this right hip now should be in front of the right knee. You might want to move that right knee back a little bit. We can stay right here for a low lunge, or we can bring that right knee off the mat for a high lunge, whichever one works best for us. Bringing that knee back down if you did come up for the high lunge. Let's come back into our tabletop pose. Now we're going to step that right foot forward. Again, making sure that the knee either tracks with the ankle or is slightly behind it but not in front of it. Now the left hip is going to be in front of the left knee. Again, you might want to move that left knee back a little bit. From here, you can stay in a low lunge, or you can bring that left knee up off the mat for a high lunge. Just listening to your body. They're both great poses, great stretches, just slightly different. Feeling for what your body needs today. We're going to step this left foot now up, bringing ourselves into a forward fold. So having a nice bend in our knees so that we don't stress our lower backs. So bending those knees, hinging forward from the hips, letting our abdomen rest on our thighs, bending our knees as much as we need to. You may have a small little bend, you may have a good sized bend, whatever works for your body so that your hands can comfortably reach the mat and keep you nice and stable here for your forward fold. Inhaling all the way up, palms together, exhaling as we bring them to heart center. So here we're in our mountain pose. So feet hip width distance apart, palms facing forward, standing up nice and tall, really grounding through our feet, straight spine, almost like there's a little string or something pulling you up, okay? Standing up nice and tall. So from here, we will move into that balancing pose that wants to challenge us with today. So let's start though, prepping for it. So we're gonna start just by gradually shifting our weight into our left foot. All right, just beginning to kind of take the weight into the left side, finding that balance. As we're ready, we can draw that right knee up for a knee balance. From here, we can do a couple of things. We can just take that knee out to the side, maybe raising the left arm. We're going to take that right knee out to the side, and we can stay right here, or we can, if we'd like, take our big toe in the right two fingers and extend. Coming back down. We're now going to take the weight into our right side. As we're ready, we'll bring that left knee up, finding our balance. Remembering with the balancing poses, it really helps to find a focal point in front of you. Now from here, we have those options. We can just go ahead and bring that left knee out, opening up through the hip, and we can stay right here. Or if we don't mind risking stumbling and wobbling a little, which is always fine, or if we are blessed with particularly fabulous balance, I am not, I work at it daily, taking that big toe into the left fingers, whoop, finding your focal point, and extending if you'd like. And coming back down, inhaling arms up, exhaling back as we hinge from the hips, bending those knees for our forward fold. All right, excellent job there. So back at the top of our mats in our forward fold, we'll inhale up for a halfway lift, straightening the back, straightening the legs, hands resting on the shins, exhaling back into our forward fold, hands to the mat, stepping back into our plank pose. So in plank pose, we're gonna be a nice straight line from the top of our head to our feet. Strong straight line. We don't want to be drooping, but we don't always want to be pushed up. We want to do the best we can to have a nice strong straight line here. Go ahead and bring those knees down to the mat. Let's widen the distance between our knees, bringing the toes together, and we'll sit our hips back on the heels for a wide-legged child's pose. Just taking a second here to regroup with our breath. As we're ready, coming back into our tabletop, wrists directly under shoulders, knees directly under hips. So we're going to come into dolphin pose. For dolphin pose, imagine the movement for down dog, but bringing your forearms down. So before we move in the dolphin, bring your forearms straight on the ground, keeping them shoulder distance apart. If you want to check in and make sure you got them the right distance, you should be able to touch your biceps if you bring the hands in. Now let's bring them back out. Step those hips, those knees back a little bit, curling the toes under. As we're ready, we will keep our forearms firmly planted on the mat. You might even want to form a V and clasp your hands, whichever is going to work best for you. As we're ready, we'll bring our hips up and back, just like in down dog, for dolphin pose. Pushing back, trying to really push our hips back towards that wall behind us. Bringing our knees back down. Let's sit off to one hip. We'll bring our legs straight out in front of us. Sitting up nice and tall. For staff pose, just sitting up nice and tall, hands just resting beside us, touching the mat. As we're ready, we can stay right here if we feel like we're getting a good enough stretch in our hamstrings and calves. Or if we'd like, we can start to slowly hinge forward from the hips, just coming to wherever is comfortable for us. There is no goal here. You don't have to touch your toes. We're not here to impress anybody. Remember, our mat is a ceasefire zone. So we're going to practice living in peace with ourselves and no judgment. So just hinging as far forward as feels comfortable for our bodies. Inhaling back up. From here, Coming back into our tabletop pose. We will step our feet forward, coming back into forward fold. So remember, keeping a bend in the knees, protecting that lower back, letting your abdomen rest on your thighs, bending as much in the knees as you need to, hinging though from the hips, trying to not stress that back. As we're here, we can bring the feet a little further apart, maybe grab opposite elbows for ragdoll pose. Really just kind of letting ourselves sink into this for a moment. Continuing to breathe. Inhaling slowly all the way up. Returning to our mountain pose. We're going to step that right foot back, bringing the back right foot to about a 45-degree angle so it's slightly facing the long side of your mat, putting a nice solid bend into this left knee, hips facing forward to the short top part of your mat. Inhaling our arms up for our warrior one. Opening up, stepping that back foot back even further. Now you want it at closer to a 90-degree angle, so it's pretty much parallel with the back side of your mat. Continuing to keep that nice strong bend in the left knee, arms straight out. This time your hips are facing the long side of your mat. Arms at shoulder distance for warrior two. All right, one more card taken care of here. Let's inhale this left arm forward, turning that palm up. Exhaling as we bring the left hand up towards the ceiling, right hand just gently resting on the back of our right thigh for reverse warrior, because it's fun. From here, we'll inhale that left arm down, right arm up for side angle. Remember, we're not collapsing here. We're really engaging through the core, keeping ourselves nice and strong, chest turned out towards the side of the mat here, not collapsing towards the floor. Right arm up towards the ceiling for our side angle. Returning to warrior two, we'll step back up into our Tadasana mountain pose. So this time, we're going to repeat those poses on the other side. So this time we're going to step the left foot back with that 45-degree angle. So again, it's not, your toes aren't directly pointed towards the long side of your mat. It's more of a 45-degree angle. Nice solid bend into the right, which is the front knee now. Hips squared with the front of your mat, facing forward. As you're ready, inhaling the arms up for warrior one. Then we will bring that left foot back a little bit further, taking that foot to more of a 90-degree angle. So now it's parallel with the back of our mat. Continuing to keep that bend in the right knee, arms at shoulder height for warrior two. Bringing that right arm forward, we'll turn that palm up when we're ready. As we exhale, we'll bring that right arm up towards the ceiling, left hand just gently resting on the back of the left thigh. For reverse warrior. As we're ready, we're going to bring that left hand up to the ceiling, bending into the right elbow, coming into side angle. Back into our warrior two. From here, we're going to step that back foot up, coming back into our mountain pose. I'm going to turn facing you guys. All right, excellent. Arms up, palms together, hands to heart center. So it wasn't a card we pulled, but I do love the pose, and since we're standing, let's practice another little balancing pose with tree, just because tree makes me happy and hopefully it does you too. And if not, give it a chance. It's a great pose. So let's put our weight into the left foot, bringing that right foot slowly up. We can be right here for our tree pose with the right knee pointing out and the toes just gently touching the mat. Hands can be at heart center, they can be out beside us, they can be lifted. Again, choice is ours. We can do our tree with our foot on the lower left leg, or if we'd like, we can bring that right foot all the way up to the left inner thigh, finding our focal point just wherever we'd like to be, remembering we have options with the hands. Exhaling as we come back down. We're going to bring the weight into the right foot this time, slowly removing the weight from the left side of our body. Toes can be left, the toes on our left foot can be just gently resting on the mat. We can bring that foot up higher so it's on the side of our shin here, the right shin. Or if we'd like, finding our focal point, we can bring that left foot all the way to the right inner thigh. Hands can be out beside us. They can be at heart center. They can be elevated. Whatever speaks to us today, it's our practice. Exhaling as we return to our mountain pose. Inhaling, arms up. Nice soft bend in the knees, hinging from the hips as we forward fold. Bringing the hands to the mat, we'll step ourselves back into our child's pose. So you can take either a standard child's pose with your knees fairly close together and just bringing your hips back. Or if you want a little more stretch, for a little more opening for the thighs, the hips, and a little more space for your belly, because some of us need a little more space for our bellies. We can widen that stance with our knees, bringing the toes together, and we can come into a wide-legged forward fold, just finding whichever one allows you to properly relax. As we're ready, we'll come back into our tabletop. So we're going to move into the universe, pick this lovely side plank. We're going to move into that. We have a couple of options here. So the first option here from tabletop, remember tabletop, your hips, your knees are directly under your hips, your wrists are directly under your shoulders. You can take that left foot and just move it kind of off to the side. Coming up bringing your left hand to the center of your mat. We'll take that right foot and extend it and bringing our right arm up. So you're staying on this left knee. You can be right here. If you'd like, you can move into a full plank. Come to the sides of those feet and come into a full side plank. Returning to plank, we'll come back down to our tabletop position. Now let's repeat that on the other side. So remembering our options here, bringing the right hand towards the middle of the mat, stepping that left foot back, coming onto the inside of it, and with that right knee, kind of turning it out so that that right foot comes off the mat, and then you're just gonna open up, bringing that left arm up towards the ceiling, or you can come into your full plank and then come over to the sides of the feet and open up for a full side plank. Returning back to our tabletop. Let's sit off to one hip. All right. Okay. Just take a second here to regroup. Side plank is tough, man. So let's catch our breath. Take a second to just kind of reconnect with our breathing. So as we're ready, we're going to attempt this heron pose. So sitting, let's bring that left foot right leg's extended out straight, left foot resting beside, or where the left ankle's resting beside the left thigh. Now from here, we can hinge forward over the straightened right leg, and we might stay right here. We may stay right here, or we may try drawing that leg up. I'm gonna stay right here. Because for me, this is already a pretty intense hamstring stretch, and I don't wanna cause any injury. Inhaling back up. Let's bring that left leg out in front of us. While we're here, let's just go ahead and do a nice little forward fold. So we're here in staff pose, both legs stretched out right in front of us, sitting up nice and tall, good straight spine. As we're ready, we can stay right here, or if we'd like, as we exhale, we can hinge from the hips for a seated forward fold again. Sitting back up. This time we're going to bring that right ankle and we're going to just bring that where it is right next to our right thigh. And again, as we're ready, hinging forward over that straight left leg, and we can stay right here, or if you're really adventurous, you can elevate it. I'm going to stay down here. You do whatever speaks right and comfortable for your body though. Inhaling up, we're going to move into the final pose picked by the universe for us today via the cards, and that is fire log. So to come into fire log pose, and probably the easiest way to describe it is let's come back into our easy seat, our cross-legged position. So once you're there, a few adjustments will get you to fire log. So what you want to do is let's take, and you want this left foot, this left leg, you want it kind of parallel with the mat. So instead of the foot coming in, you want it almost, you want the lower part of your leg, and I know I should know a more technical term for that, to be straight with the mat, right? And then from there, flexing that foot, so you want those toes kind of pointing in. You're gonna bring the right leg and basically put the right ankle over the left ankle, and that means then that you're over the right ankle over the left knee, is what I meant to say, which will put your right knee over your left ankle. So sitting up nice and tall, straight spine, you can stay right here. It's a pretty intense stretch for the hips and everything already. Or if you'd like, as you're ready, as you exhale, you can slowly hinge forward, just stopping at the point that feels comfortable for you. Really remembering to listen to your body, pay attention to what feels comfortable. Sitting up, keeping in mind this is always your practice, so always paying attention to what feels good for you. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to switch. The right leg will be on the bottom. Again, you want to make sure that your calf is parallel with your mat. All right, flexing that foot so the toes are pointing in, then bringing the left ankle and resting it on the right knee. That now will put your right knee over your left ankle. I think I said that right. All right, so you almost formed a little box here. Again, you can stay just sitting up nice and tall. This is already, for most of us, a pretty intense stretch for the hamstrings and the hips and all that great stuff. Hopefully it feels comfortable and not uncomfortable. Staying right here, or if you'd like, as you exhale, you can hinge forward to just whatever point feels right for you and your body. Sitting back up, let's move ourselves into butterfly pose. It's another one I just love. So for butterfly pose, we're gonna bring the soles of our feet together. So imagining that our legs are like the little butterfly's wings, soles of the feet touching, bringing them just as close as feels comfortable. Typically, you've got about your foot length distance between the heels and your body. Sitting up nice and tall, you might want to stay right here. You may already feel a nice opening through the hips, just being right here, sitting up nice and tall. If you'd like, as you exhale, you are welcome to start to slowly hinge forward if that feels good on your body. Inhaling up, we're going to slowly bring ourselves down so that our backs are on the mat. A few more little poses here just to do a couple counter stretches for all that loveliness. But bringing ourselves, resting with our backs on the mat, feet hip distance apart, fairly close to our bottoms. Palms just resting beside us on the mat, engaged with the mat, really connecting your arms with the mat. As we're ready, again, feet hip distance apart, fairly close to our bottoms. As we're ready, exhaling, we'll bring our hips up for bridge pose. So touching the mat is the soles of our feet, our shoulders, our head and neck, our back and our thighs and our calves are not touching the mat at this point. Bringing our hips slowly back down. We'll step our feet out just a little bit further from us and out towards the sides of the mat. Just giving a little more comfortable space here as we continue to let our arms and back relax into the mat. Again, just to get a little release, from here, let's slowly let our knees just gently drop over to the left. Inhaling back to center. As we exhale this time, we'll allow our knees to gently just drop over to the right. Inhaling back up. Let's draw the knees into the chest. We can hold behind the knees, bringing them in towards the chest, and slowly rock back and forth, just gently, slowly getting a nice little massage in the lower back. As we're ready, we'll go ahead and bring our feet out, letting them just kind of relax, pointing out towards the sides of the mat. Maybe letting our arms come out a little further so they're not so tight close into the body, and just closing our eyes and connecting with our breath as we rest here in our final resting pose, Shavasana. Just allowing ourselves to relax, letting all that tension go. Eyes closed, really focusing in again on our breath, really just re-inviting ourselves to connect with our breathing, not changing it, not altering it, just noticing it. Maybe with each exhale, you imagine just relaxing a little deeper, sinking a little deeper into the mat, just letting your body really release and relax into the floor. Continuing to focus in on your breathing, allowing yourself to just relax here into your mat, taking full advantage of all the joys that is Shavasana pose, and allowing yourself to just release all that tension. As we're ready, we'll start moving through the fingers and toes, bringing our awareness back into the room, into our bodies. We may even want to extend our arms up, getting a nice all full body stretch from the tips of the fingers to the tips of the toes, really just stretching out. We can bring our feet in, so the soles of the feet once again are resting on the mat, fairly close to our bottom, bringing the arms back down. As we're ready, slowly curling up and resting onto one side. Inhaling, slowly sitting up, coming back to that easy seat, cross-legged position, whatever you're most comfortable referring to it as, just sitting in whatever way feels best for you. We'll inhale our arms up, palms together, exhaling to heart center. Let's do that again. Inhaling our arms up, palms together, exhaling to heart center. One more time. Inhaling our palms up, palms together, exhaling to heart center. Thank you. If you checked out this practice today, hopefully you enjoyed it. We did successfully make it through all of the poses that the universe tossed at us via those cards today, plus a few more. Hopefully that was fun for you. I'm sure you could tell there was at least one pose in there which is not a go-to for me, but hey, it's good to challenge ourselves, and that means me with my practice too. So again, I am learning, for those of you that are aware. I'm learning, so I appreciate your feedback. How am I doing? How's the pacing? How's the descriptions? Yeah, any advice, any feedback you got, very much appreciated. Thank you and enjoy your day.